Okay, Unity is set up. We've downloaded our characters. So we're going to bring those characters in. And I need to change my folder so I can see my characters. And we like to keep stuff organized. So in Assets, let's create a folder for our Mixamo characters. And we're also going to use a material. I'll show you that in a second. So create another folder called Materials. Okay, and we don't want our figures dancing nowhere, so we're gonna just throw a plane down for them. You can put a plane in by either using the Game Object menu and going to 3D Object. I typically will right-click in the hierarchy instead. I find this quicker. So if you right-click here, this menu pops up, and you're going to go down to Plane. Okay, and then it's a good idea to zero out your plane or position it at 0. I'm also going to make mine bigger because I don't want to be limited. Of course, I could come back later and fix it too. So it's very white, obviously. I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you how to just add a color texture to an object you've created. So that's why I made the materials folder. So click the materials folder, right click on the materials folder, and then you want to create a material. ¿Dónde estás? Why can't I find that? Create. There it is. Okay, and I'm going to call this material floor. So to add a color while the material is selected, all you got to do is click this right here and choose a color. I recommend choosing something light because darker can have weird effects on our shadowing. So I'm going to close that. So you can see that our floor has this color, but it hasn't been applied to our plane. You can do that either by dragging it to there, or you can drag it that way. It doesn't matter. It's easier to drag it on the floor. So there is our nice green floor. Okay, so our next step is getting all of our animations in here. So I'm just going to open the folder I have. I'm going to select all the animations I downloaded. And I'm going to drop them into the Mixamo folder, which takes a few minutes, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so you can see that all of our characters are here. So they're all the same character. We're only going to use one actual character. We're just going to use we'll use multiple of these animations, okay? So we'll drag in the idle character. So that is CH46 for me. I think I'll send to her too. Okay, so you can probably tell that she doesn't have a texture. And I don't know if you recall, but the last time we did this, when we imported a character from Mixamo, a little note came up that said, there's something wrong, do you want to fix it? And we clicked fix it. Well, that didn't happen this time. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because we brought in a lot at the same time, but I do know how to fix it. So to get the texture back and applied, you have to click the root folder down in projects, which will show you different menus here. I think it's normally on animation. So you have to, in the project window, click the actual folder. If you don't click the folder, you're not going to see these things. We have to click material. And then where it says location, we are going to change it to use external materials, and we're going to click apply. And that takes a second, and you'll probably see that window come up that says there's something wrong. Do you want to fix it? Here it is. So we'll fix we'll fix now. And when we're done, you can see that her texture is there. Okay, the last thing we're going to do before we start creating an animator, etc., is to change the camera's position. So you can see that right now my camera is looking at the back of her. So I could play around with the positioning of the camera, but one of the nice things is, and I haven't shown you this yet, if you position your scene in a manner that you like, in fact, I might drag the light. Actually, let me move the camera first. So I kind of like this perspective of her. So if you have your scene arranged in a way that you would like your camera to be, have your camera selected, go to Game Object and align with View. And then you can see they look the same. You can also tell that my rendering's not on because she's a little jiggy-jaggy. She's a little pixelated. I'm going to do the same thing with my directional light. I'm going to put that in the same spot and then probably raise it up. So I'm going to go Align with View. That changed a lot. I am now going to raise the position way up higher. I should have looked and seen what it was before. Actually, see what happens if I go 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that's exactly above her now since I switched it to 0, 0, 0. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to go back to rendering and go to lighting settings. I forget if there's another way to turn this on. It's supposed to be auto generating. Anyway, we'll look at lighting in a minute, but at least we can see her. And the camera's in a good spot and the lighting's better, but she needs to be rendered. We'll look at that in a few minutes. Let's see, let me check the time of this. I'm going to stop here and then we'll come back and we will start putting her animation together.